Kingy, we don't have a new GM of football yet.
No. How long is this going to take, do you think? It's because this period of the year is crucial. Because clubs are going to come back and start their pre-season training and tactically work out how they want to get around the stand rule and all that sort of stuff.
Is it 4 and a sub?
Who knows? But more specifically, the way they want to play and the way they want to defend. So you can't drop. I mean, we dropped the stand rule on teams really late in pre-season last time. That's not ideal. You need to give clubs a chance to train to be effective in their planning through the pre-season period. So this needs to get sorted quickly. I don't know who the candidates are. There's a couple of other names that we haven't. Jimmy Bartell's been all the rage. That's the only name we've really heard.
He sort of put his hand up, and he's a big name, so that's why that was so prevalent in the media, and he wants the job. Nathan Buckley, Gary said that he put his hand up with him and said that he would have a look at it. I did see he's recommitted to SEN, so hopefully he stays with us. But he could do the job
easily.
Yeah.
I think if you've been a senior coach, and been trusted with that level of responsibility, then this is the next step for you. A name I want to throw in there, who's been around football for a long time, both as a player, as an administrator, seen all the goings on of clubland. Jason McCartney.
Right.
Very great.
Yeah,
I think in this role, you have to be a great media performer. You have to be able to hold interest, have a laugh, be a little bit entertaining, but then get to the core of what needs to be discussed in a clear and concise manner. I think Jason McCartney could do this on his ear.
Yeah.
Are there any other nominations that you think are worthy or you'd like to see?
Well, I think you go to people that you know and you know how they operate. So I mentioned Chris Davies, who's the footy manager at Port Adelaide, had been approached from the AFL for previous jobs. I think even before Brad Scott had got the job, so I think he could easily do it. And, I mean, those footy bosses from Clubland that have had success would be people that you'd look at. You chucked up a name off air. David Noble was going fully down the administrative path, wasn't he, before he took the job at North Melbourne, and he's available.
And he's sort of seen both sides of it. I think as an administrator, he's been very successful, and as a coach, it didn't work out. So I think that's a good set of skills to understand both challenges. You just don't want someone who's had clear success at every point, because you do need to understand both sides of the coin, I think. But who else out there? So if you've got a thought, let us know.
Alan Richardson would be the other one from Melbourne as well. His extensive history as a player, as a coach, general manager of football at Melbourne, the success that they have had there, once again, exceptional media performer and great operator. So we've got our Choices Flooring Twitter poll up. Choices Flooring, floors for living. Sale is on now at Choices Flooring. Who should be the new AFL GM of football? Check out their spring catalogue, inspiring savings on carpet, timber, hybrid, luxury vinyl, window finishes and rugs. Have your vote. Billy has got a nomination for us. Good morning to you, Bill.
Yeah, morning, guys. Yeah, it might be a bit left field, but I think Chris Grant might be pretty suitable for that role. I'm not sure if it has long enough in admin, but very professional down at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's a good one, Billy. Have you had much to do with Chris personally from a football point of view?
No, just I'm just a follower, and I just followed him all his career. But just in his new roles that he's had at the club in the last few years, I think he's done a great job and very well spoken, very well respected. So I think I'd definitely put him up there as a candidate.
Yeah, good on you, Bill. And if you were nominating someone, what changes would you make as well? 0433 98 11 16. If you were put in that position, doesn't feel like there's going to be many, largely because of the fact the AFL are comfortable with what they've done aggressively over the last 2 seasons, and there's no one in the role to make those changes right now. Tom's on the line. You want to speak about some new rules, Tommy?
What's going on, boys? Hey, Cornsy, I'd just like to say, bro, I've always said the only people that don't like Kane Corns are nothing, because you irritate nothing. But reasonable people love you, mate. So work.
Good on you, Tommy. What changes would you make?
Don't know about that, Tommy.
No, I want to talk about, is there a rule that's been introduced in the last 3-4 years that hasn't benefited Geelong? That's, and I'm an Essendon supporter, so I'm not a Richmond supporter. They clearly made the stand on the mark rule to benefit to Geelong to beat Richmond. Now, the 5 on the bench, isn't it fascinating that Geelong were testing that out before the end of this season with Dangerfield and Selwood already on the bench?
Conspiracy theory, you reckon, Tommy? Stephen
I just think
Hocking's gone
there's
from the
no
AFL
other,
to Geelong?
there's no other club in the AFL, in the history of the AFL, that have been given more legs up than the Geelong Football Club.
All right, Cats fans,
Tommy.
respond to that. I know you will. 0433 98 11 16. That'll light a fire on the 40 Winks temper text.
No, I'm getting some feedback on the text machine myself.
Are you?
Any more North Melbourne people, Ken? Well, David Noble, he was a North Melbourne coach, but he was hardly there for a decade or two.
5 minutes.
And Jason McCartney's been at multiple clubs and been an administrator for some time with the GWS Giants. He's been involved in list management. He's been at the AFL. So there's all sorts of things that Jason's done. So they've got vast experiences.
Jimmy Bartelli's perfect, says Mozza. Tom Harley, fellas, says
Tom Harley.
Jed would be, Tom Harley would almost aspire to a higher role, wouldn't he? I mean, he was in the conversation for the AFL CEO's
Couldn't
job.
take the pay cut.
Yeah, I'm not sure he could easily do it, but I'm not sure that would be a step forward for him. Nathan's in Craigieburn. He wants to ask Kingy a question. What's your thoughts, Nath?
Yeah, good morning. I just got a question for Kingy. He's good at analysing what goes wrong on a game day and stuff on the shows that he talks after the game on Fox and stuff. Isn't there any interest from him to do maybe like a analyse coaching or something at a club?
Nah, there isn't, Nathan, to be honest. Was a clubland a long time ago. I've got full respect for the guys that do it. It's a tough job. It's a tough job for assistant coaches. It's a thankless task more often than not. They work their tails off, pouring through vision most weekends, all weekend. And I just think that I'm in a perfect role that suits myself, Nathan. So thanks for the call.
Good on you, Nath. Ray is on the line. You want to speak about the new AFL CEO whenever that's announced? Ray, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm going to throw something left field at you guys, and I know that a lot of people have challenged this. There's a well-known guy interstate called Peter V'landys. He started off in the mining industry, the hospitality industry, joined New South Wales Harness when harness racing was a basket case, turned it around, got promoted to New South Wales Racing, got promoted to the Rugby League. Now he's introduced, as you could see with the racing, the big race meetings last week was a huge day. Caulfield Cup Day, they've got the Everest. Derby Day tomorrow, they've got, the Golden Eagle. We've even got Jamie Carr, a top jockey, not racing at Flemington. Now, what we need to do is get away from the AFL Boys Club, with due respect to everybody you guys have mentioned. Where Gill failed us badly is that he put emphasis on signing the TV rights deal, which is not up for 2 years, ignored the concussion report, ignored drugs in sport. We've had drug cheats in sport for 50 years. There's no fair draw. He came out and spoke about a young kid,
when you
Jack
say
Ginnivan.
drug cheats in sport, the AFL's been largely a clean sport.
Okay, you may believe that. There are players at nearly every club that take drugs, whether
Ray,
they're
come
illicit
on.
drugs
You
or whatever
can't-
they are.
Come on, Ray. You're losing your way there. Skip past that one. What are your other points?
Okay, we'll leave that alone. A fair draw. We should have a system where everybody plays each other once or twice, where you can't have stage draws. And where we went wrong again was picking on young kids like Ginnivan for doing something that Joel Selwood did for 20 years. So I think we've got to look away from the AFL Boys Club and get somebody from outside the industry, as I said to you, like Peter V'landys. That's the only way the AFL is going to kick on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Peter V'landys is amazing, and everything you said about what he has done is accurate, but would he be embraced like a non-football person in that role? I'm not sure the fans would he embrace him in that, but I'm happy to take your feedback on it, Ray. It's a left field one. We may put that to Eddie Maguire.
What would he do, Peter V'landys, first day in the job? I mean, he's loose. I love it. I love the way everything's grand, everything's big.
You have to understand the game, though, wouldn't you?
The marketing opportunity, well, maybe not. Maybe not. But he's got enough on his plate at the moment with New South Wales Racing and the Rugby League. But the marketing opportunity that he created when they first started the Everest by putting the colours of the horses on the Sydney Opera House was spectacular.
No, he's a bit of a genius, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's a lateral thinker. There's no doubt about that.
But I'm not sure he's a viable candidate for the AFL CEO job. Neil's on the line. What do you think about some rule changes, Neil?
G'day, boys. I've got the one that I'd really like to see him trial is that the one that the umpires can't get right It's the length of the kick. You know, there's 5 metre kicks, there's 10s, there's 20s, and it's either play on, the players are confused. What about if the ball just comes off the foot and it's marked? It's a mark. Just trial it, see what happens.
Any length.
Any length.
Any length.
Used to be 10, then it went to 15. It is hard to judge, isn't it? But I'm not sure a little dinky sort of 2 metre kick for a mark, then that stops play. I'm not sure that
Would look a bit embarrassing, wouldn't
would work. But anyway, it's left field. Thank you for your thoughts there. Neil, can you just quickly, what do you make of the Essendon review? I'll just read a couple of things that came out of it, which was largely...
Training standards.
Yeah, a bit embarrassing. Drive high training standards, better fitness base leading into the season. They're going to design a pre-season around that. They lack unity between all the key players of the football department. They want to increase the club connection with the members. They were under-resourced in their development department, so they're going to go from 2.5 coaches to 5.5 in that area in 2023. They've created 2 new positions, General Manager of Performance and a Head of Development. Other than that, things were going pretty well.
I mean, what hope did Ben Rutten have? If that is all correct, and it appears that that's the case, well, what hope did he have?
None.
I mean, I know his fingerprints are on quite a few of those areas. I mean, he should have driven training standards, and that alone is a reason to almost walk your coach, really. If you can't get the standards of training right, then you cannot succeed. So I can't believe that it's taken a review to get that feedback. I mean, if you're a senior player at one of those at the Essendon Football Club, you're aware of that.
Well,
how can you not have shifted the course of training standards
Exactly.
through that period?
And then we look at the game, and you look at it behind the goals, and you see the opposition transition the ball without a glove being laid on them, and the worst in the competition. We go, what is going on here? And then you read that they weren't even fit, and they lack training standards. They weren't prepared for day one of pre-season. You go, okay, well, that sort of makes sense, but no one did anything about it. So those players should be largely embarrassed reading that review, and clearly there's going to be some significant changes. 130 of the staff were surveyed through this Jordan Lewis, Brendan McCartney report. But yeah, I'd be pretty frustrated if I was an Essendon supporter reading that.
I'll tell you what they need to throw in there. They're best and fairest. I still cannot believe that Mason Redmond did not win Essendon's best and fairest. I can't understand that. Having watched every game of Essendon this year, and Peter Wright had a fantastic year. He did. But did he have a better year than Mason? I'd love to hear from the Essendon people. Did they agree? And I'll get the full results of the best and fairest up after the break, but I was staggered that Mason Redmond didn't win that best and fairest, Cornsey.